to the issues raised by the farmers. This entire inflexibility, are there agendas at work, is a question that we are asking. Let's dive into the debate straight up. Let's ask this question. Who are these people who are driving these agendas? Where is the problem? Let's go across to our guests and get into this, because more and more as we look at the information, at the data, and who are the people who are actually leading these protests in the name of the Kisan, then ideology, politics comes to the fore. Vested interests come to the fore. And then one wonders, who's putting their own interests ahead of the interest of the Kisan? Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson of the BJP with us, Professor Dinesh Varshney, leader of the CPI with us, Ravi Srivastava, political analyst with us, and MJ Khan, chairman of the Indian Chamber of Food and Agriculture, also with us. At the outset, my first question is, do you want the Kisan to be empowered or do you want the Kisan to be weak? Is the option to sell to multiple people one step towards empowerment or not? Is protecting the Kisan's interests when he enters or she enters into contract farming a step towards empowerment or not? Is opening up the entire country as a market a step towards further empowering the Kisan or not? Dr. MJ Khan, when we think about this, the answers to it is yes. So what are the protests all about?
Certainly, I would agree with you. In fact, it is very unfortunate that farmers have been protesting for so long on an issue which we all have been demanding for the last 2 decades, that reforms were must. The fact remains that in the last 10-15 years, commodity after commodity, we have either got into self-sufficiency or in surplus, in fact, except edible oil. So therefore, for farmers to get maximum out of his efforts, what he produces, only the market reforms could make it possible, where he is able to connect with multiple buyers. Depending solely on the government procurement system, it has not worked. It has worked for a very, very limited number of farmers, and it has not given the choices. So therefore, unless there was value addition, and that is possible only by way of investment, unless improvement in the supply chain and value chain, that is possible only with the farmer industry partnerships and private sector investment. For that, enabling provisions and laws were required. So these acts finally are in place. Now the question arises, something which is of great benefit to the farmers, why they are protesting and why they are not agreeing anything less than the scrapping. One thing which went wrong in these bills was the tax inside the mandi and no tax outside the mandi. This was the trigger point. That over a period of time, the mandis will get into losses, resulting into state governments handing over these loss-making mandis over to the private sector, creating the monopolies. So this was one trigger where I do not know what level, how this happened. There should have been uniformity of taxes, either no tax inside mandi also, or taxes outside mandi too. Second thing, of course, has been much discussed that, there should have been dialogue, consultation, this, that. Now the fact remains that finally the committee has been formed. So there are different perceptions. The people who are supporting these laws, they feel that eminent experts are there, so something great is going to be recommended. Now farmers are rejecting that for the sake of that committee might delay settlement of it, and they want to exert maximum pressure on the government. Second, somehow I would say that composition of the committee could have been little better.
But let me ask you this, Mr. Khan. Largely, if you are working towards empowering the Kisan, would you argue about repealing the laws or amending the laws and improving them further and create more provisions? Because this
certainly not repealing. Certainly not repealing. Rather, government has agreed to almost every objection area that the farmers put forth in the 7-8 round of talks. Rather, farmers should gladly accept whatever has come in the form of the benefits that are inbuilt in these 3 acts, and additionally, whatever their concerned areas that could be addressed and have largely been addressed by the government in these sittings. However, only one thing remains, which alone could, take away the anger and protest and agitation to the extent of 90-95%, which is, of course, the implication of that have to be analyzed. That is the the MSP applicable on the trade, private sector also, which means nobody will buy below it. They're declaring this as a floor price or minimum procurement price or whatever terminology you want to put it.
Hello.
So
Yes.
this is the one demand. On that, probably we have done some calculation, some analysis of implications. So if need be, if this committee invites us, we'll probably submitting those details as well.
True, but the point is, Mr. Khan, today is a time we are at this point talking. I've got 4 other panelists with us, Dushan Nagar also joining us at this point, but I'm going to press you a little more. I'm going to ask you, MJ Khan, those who turn around and says, people like Rakesh Tikait, Congress leaders, left leaders who are standing there, who are saying, bill wapsi nahi to koi ghar wapsi nahi. What do you think is their agenda? Because you said about APMC markets, that was a trigger point. The government has come out and said that charge the same tax to anybody who sets up a mandi outside the APMC. But allow an open market system. The government has come out. The government has also come out and said that your interest will be protected. You want the option to go to courts. The farmer gets the option to go to courts and not even the contractor. Your land, the farmer's land is protected at all points in time. इतनी आजादी तो 70 साल में किसान मांग रहे थे, कभी नहीं मिली. पर ये आजादी होबे ना क्यों कर रहे हैं? और जो कह रहे हैं बिल रिपील, बिल वापसी नहीं तो घर वापसी, what is their agenda, Mr. Khan?
In fact, after these 2-3 provisions that farmers raised, objection, government agreed to amend. After this is led to in both the hands of the farmers. Therefore, this is little beyond comprehension that sticking to repeal of the laws. In fact, better farmers should have stick to the demand of MSP on the trade rather than repeal of the law. That could have been. So privately, many of the farmers who are media say that repeal the laws. Privately, we have been discussing. There is a little softening. So I do not know how their actual understanding of feeling and what is preventing that putting into the public domain. Which means instead of asking for the repeal, they could have better said that please see that in what form this MSP could be applicable on the trade, or little better MSP could be applied to us.
True.
So I think there are interests which you are pointing out. Of course, people have been pointing out to the Bharatiya system of Punjab fueling these agitation, and some political elements are creeping into it. Fishing in the troubled water, what the saying goes. So I believe I would not rule out if there are interests working in this. Certainly, I would advise my farmers friends, in fact, all the farmers organizations. Last 20 years, we have been meeting in my office and elsewhere. Every 3 months, 6 months, we have been convening meeting in our office as well of all the farmers organizations. We created All India Farmers Alliance, also headed by Dr. Rajaram Tripathi. So I've been advising that please accept this. Otherwise, I don't think a better deal could have come, what it has already come. And you're this point which you mentioned yourself, that now there'll be uniformity of tax. So then what remains to be seen? So I do not know,
I think it just